For those of you who don't know, this channel recently got to 10K, which is a huge accomplishment. I have all of you to thank. So we're doing this special live video where I'm doing live readings. I don't know how long we'll be here, but I will do as many as I can. I'll tell you that I got a lot of requests. So priority will be going to the people who already signed up and are here live today. There is one person who I made an exception for, and that's Jasmine. But everybody else, that will be priority. So if you are jumping on and you're here today to get your reading and you already signed up, you need to let me know in the comments who you are. Something that will identify you, like the name that you used when you signed up or something like that, not your birth info. So I'm going to ask that people please do not put your birth information in the chat. I feel this is a little too, it's too sensitive of information to just be putting out there, and I could get in trouble for that. I got a privacy strike on a previous video, and I think that's why. Okay, so Kim's here. Hey, Kim. All right, let me take a look. I have a few people on the list who I'm hoping show up so I can do their reading. But okay, so let me explain. Let me explain for anyone just jumping on. What are we doing here? These are free readings. There's no structure to them. Some may be very short, some may be very long. It just, I'm going to go with whatever I feel, whatever flows the most easily. Oh, thank you so much, Kitty, for coming on and saying that. That's so kind. Okay, so we're just going to try to let it flow today and see how it goes. There won't be a timer or any kind of structure or anything. And yeah, so there are some people who have already sort of applied for their reading. For those of you who've already applied, I see there's one person here so far, and that's Kim. So Kim will be first because of that. And for anyone else who's like, I didn't know, but I still want to do it, you can send me a DM on Instagram. And I'm doing that because I want to keep the birth info out of the chat. I don't want it showing. So let me see if I can. Yeah. Let's see if this will show up here. I don't see it. Oh, I didn't. Hold on. I gotta be smarter than the technology I'm using. There we go. Okay, we got it. All right, let me see some of these other comments. All right. How do we apply? Nada. Okay, so I'm seeing some people that are signed up. So Nada, I see you. And let me see if I can start. Yes. That I did not mean to do. Did I do that? Hold on. Sorry, guys. I'm figuring out what I'm trying to do here. Yeah. Okay. So I think we're just going to have fun. Someday I will have someone doing this shit for me, and I'll just be able to focus on you, the audience, which is what I want to be doing. Okay, so let's just start with Kim since she is showing up first. And let's see, Water Bear says, hi. Hi, Water Bear. Hi, Sayla. Hi, Robin. Hi, Chrissy. Thank you so much, Chrissy. Hello, Robin. I think I said that. Heather, did you sign up already? So I'm just finding your guys's questions and charts and stuff. So Kim, I see you here and you're asking for what career fits best for me, any new love popping up soon. Okay, so I think we'll probably do one of those because even just one of those is like a lot. So Kim, it will help me if you tell me, like, is there a career you're thinking about or what's wrong with the career you have? You know, just give me something, something in the chat while I'm putting in your info, and then we can do that. I mean, then I can, give you more better, clear, direct, specific information. Uh, um, wow, my computer's being super weird. Okay. Kim, I want to change my career. Just registered for TEFL to teach abroad. Oh, cool. I did that. I did that in South Korea. Okay, Kim, let's start with you. For those of you who signed up, just know that I may not get through everyone. So don't think that just because you signed up, you're automatically going to get picked. You have to sign up and be here, and it has to be the right timing because we got 30 people, and I don't think I'll get through all of them. Okay. So Kim, we'll just look at your chart here. I got it pulled up and see, is TEFL the right choice? Was the kind of question here. So we're just going to glance Sun in Leo, Sun in Leo in the 8th, Moon in Leo in the 8th, Capricorn rising with Saturn in the 11th in Scorpio, midheaven in Libra, Venus in the 9th. Yeah, so midheaven in Libra, Venus in the 9th in Virgo, very, very good for teaching abroad. Very good for doing stuff abroad because the 9th house, we're looking at the midheaven being the point of highest potential in career. So with Venus here, it makes me feel like you might just long for something that feels more meaningful. And with Venus and Mercury in Virgo, this makes me feel like you'd probably be really good at getting into the details of teaching a language, being able to explain some of the different grammar things and, helping people learn by giving them the really specific like pronunciation and stuff. That feels like it's really a strong point for you. And so, I'm going to say yes. Now, what's interesting is this Venus is retrograde, which makes me wonder, Kim, if you've had a situation where, I don't know, maybe you wanted to do this before but didn't do it. Let us know in the comments if that's true, because it's not uncommon for retrograde planets to feel like you missed something earlier and then you want to go back and redo it. There's a stronger desire there. With the sun in the 8th and moon in the 8th, you're probably really good at getting close to people, mashing souls with people, meeting someone, and then they'll feel like you've known them forever. So I would say, my feeling is that you could do groups or one-on-one because you've got your planet of you in the 11th house of groups. Actually, nope, I lied. That's in the 10th house. Forget I said that. Saturn's in the 10th, which means you probably want more out of your career. So I feel like, yes, you could teach abroad, absolutely. But I think at some point you'll be like, okay, what am I building with this? You might end up taking that and using that as a stepping stone to do a next thing after that. Because usually people with Saturn in the 11th or in the 10th, it's like they have big goals and they're not going to be satisfied with something little, they're not going to be satisfied with something that's like just okay. And with Pluto there, it's like for you, career is probably always going to feel like it's changing, and it's like, it's a big before and after of your life potential transformation of what you could rise up to. And let's see if Venus has any aspects to it that besides that conjunction. Oh yeah, squaring Uranus in the 12th. So if this is like a sudden thing where you're like, oh my God, I want to go teach abroad, and let's just see if your transits are activating this recently. That 5 degree of Sag. Yeah, it makes me wonder. Okay, I'm just curious. Now, this may or may not be what's going on, but I'm curious if around August 9th, is this when you were maybe thinking about this? You kind of got this, uh, early August, like maybe I should go teach abroad. Let me know in the comments if that's true. And if not, if some other developments happened around that time regarding this whole topic. So let us know. And so here is the here is the sorry. I'm so tired. That's what I see. That's what I see. And I think Mars, since let's see when Mars was doing this, or, around July, kind of stimulating that Venus in the ninth loves information, loves learning. People with Venus, Mercury in the ninth like this, sometimes they'll straight up work in a library because they just get to be closer to the information. They get to be closer to the knowledge. So I think your chart is really strong for that love of knowledge and that love of other cultures, love of other languages, love of travel. And that I see like it just with Uranus here, it might be something where it's like a sudden thing where you're like, bam, now I want to do this. And if it is, just know that sometimes your career is going to have these wild U-turns that you didn't expect or whatever. So that is what I see for that. So we're going to go on now to one of the next ones. Thank you so much, Kim, for participating. And feel free to let us know in the comments what's going on, how that landed for you. So let's go to Nada next. So what I'm doing here is I'm marking the people who already signed up. And yeah, Kimberly, I did that in South Korea, and lots of people do, and it's totally doable there as well. Okay. This one signed up. Water Bear, what was your name? Those of you who are saying you signed up, if your YouTube name matches, that's perfect. Nanditi, I see you. If it doesn't, you got to tell me what your YouTube name is. Enki's here. Great. Enki, I think I put you in, so I think we're going to go to Enki now because I put that chart in. Let me see if I'm right about that. 1 second. Yes, the Earth Grand Trine. Okay, so Enki will be next. For any of you who you didn't get to sign up, message me on Instagram. It'll give you a chance. It doesn't guarantee that you'll get in. All right, let me see here. We have I think my light is too bright. Okay, Enki, I'm just going to go with you next. Like I said, we're putting your chart up here, and here we go. All right, so for Enki, you said you have an Earth Grand Trine. Sounded like you had a hard time manifesting. You want to know what is the deal. Well, what's the deal is Chiron is one of those things. That's why this is not feeling like it's a magical thing. Okay, and so we're going to talk about your Chiron because Venus and Mars, now these are very lovely, wonderful. This is a wonderful trine because Venus and Mars in a positive aspect give you a lot of magnetism and charisma, whether you think so or not. And so it's just With Venus in the 12th, though, you may not see that. You might not be able to see it. You might have to look harder to see how much you are like your ability to draw people in, to allure people. You might not recognize that part of yourself. It's there, but it might not be easy for you to see that. And with Mars in the 8th, it's like these planets are in kind of hidden places, which is probably part of the reason, 8th house, 4th house, 12th house, these houses are like places where those planets tend to sort of they're more private. They're not more obviously expressed, right? So Mars in the 8th might show up in your intimate relationships, the ability to kind of want to go deeper with people. And sometimes you'll stimulate that, like stimulate the deeper connection with people. And that, that's going to be well received or not, just depending on whether they like that or not. So, I mean, that's just how that is. You guys don't put your birth information. Water bearer, I'm deleting this comment. Hold on. If I can, I want you to delete it. I don't think I can delete it without blocking you. I don't want to block you. Yeah, don't put your birth info in the chat, please. Enki, I'm not done with you yet. One second, you guys. Thank you to everyone who's here and supporting and showing up and trying to get a reading. Oh, Quinn, no, you didn't miss your reading. Oh, maybe you deleted it. I don't see it now. Okay, so back to Enki, and then I'll fill everyone in who's just hopping on. So this grand trine isn't just magical because you have Chiron in it, and Chiron is where we block ourselves. So it's like your Venus and Mars are going to work well together. Of Venus and Capricorn, this gives you Venus and Capricorn and Mars and Virgo. It makes you hardworking. So it's like you're probably like, well, why can't I manifest by just visualizing something and then having it appear poof? Because your placements give you, Venus and Capricorn, the strength here is you can sacrifice. You can do things that are hard. You're more likely to do things that are hard. But for you, this is your 9th house ruler. So it's almost like life will feel more meaningful when you're making sacrifices for the things you love and when you determine what is worth sacrificing for. This does not mean your whole life has to be that, just that this is how life is meaningful for you. And with Mars and Virgo, it might be for a partnership, it might be for love, it might be for some kind of psychic work or something. If you have like intuition or something, well, that's where, especially with Moon in the 8th, you might have very strong intuition and to be able to tune into the details. Now, Chiron in Taurus is going to possibly be a bit of a block here. And what Chiron in Taurus does for most people who have it is they feel like Chiron and Taurus people usually feel like they have to look a certain way, wear certain clothes, sort of fit in with people around them so they don't look like a loser. Wherever we have Chiron, it's more meaningful to us if we don't have that thing. Because Chiron is in Taurus, it's like if you don't feel like you have the nice clothes or the nice car or something like that, you can feel like you're a loser. Or like, Chiron and Taurus people are the ones who tell me things like, I live in a really nice neighborhood, but I don't care that I don't make as much money. It's like, it matters to you that even if you don't want that thing, it matters to you if you don't have it. Now, Chiron in the 4th house usually is more of a wound of feeling like you don't fit in with your family and not feeling like you ever really got that full 100,000% emotional acceptance of being who you are. So, The way to work with this grand trine and manifest is number one, know that because one of the planets are in the eighth house, it might show up through other people. You might manifest better through others. Like you have a partner and they like it comes through them. Don't say no to things like that come through other people because the universe will funnel you gifts through others. And with Venus in the 12th, don't say no to it if it's like something that is unseen, like gifts from spirit guides or gifts of intuition or gifts of psychology or gifts of awareness of, what your gift with this grand trine might be ability to help others with their silent suffering, their spiritual maladies or their addiction or their mental health stuff. So it might be more that these gifts are the gifts that you provide for other people. So Enki, feel free to let us know if that resonates, and we're going to go ahead and move on to the next person. So welcome to anyone else just jumping on. We are doing 10K readings. This is a celebration. It is a party. We're having fun and Saturday morning party time. But really, it is a party. And for those of you who are jumping on, who some of you already signed up, if you already signed up, let me know what your name was in the signups and I'll get to as many people as I can. And then, oh, thank you, Jaya, for deleting. It's okay. I'm not mad. I just I don't want my channel to I don't want my videos taken down again. And okay, you know what? Here's what I need to do about that. I need to edit this. No, I thought I did this. No birth info in the chat. Save. Okay, so it should show up there now. Okay, I might know what I'm doing. Maybe. Okay, so what's next, you guys? We have so many people signing up. This is so fun. Okay, so we have some people. For those of you too who are like, when's my turn? I'll just tell you guys right now we have 7 people who have said they signed up who are here. So we've got Nada, Heather, Avani, Nandini, Cosmic Goddess. Cosmic Goddess, I saw your message, Reginald, and then Stacy. So 1, 2, 3, that's 6, not 7. And then I have some people chatting me on Instagram as well. And so I'm kind of picking, you guys, the things that either like I know I can do that'll be fun for everyone to read, or people whose charts I already have, just so we can keep this kind of flowing and fun. So don't be upset if you don't get picked. And if you don't get picked, we will do another one at 20K. And I gotta say, you guys, I'm pretty sure this will take less time to get to 20K than it did to 10K. I freaking hope, because I don't have another 5 years. Anyway, that was a joke, but I'm not even funny. Sometimes I'm not funny. You guys, I'm not funny. But let's go to Nada next. So let me find 1 second here while I get Nada's chart up. I remember seeing it come through. And you asked for your chart. Okay. So I'm adding you now, Nada. Okay, so Nada, I have your chart up. And I'm just going to kind of jump into what I see that is like the most striking. Sometimes that's the biggest challenge, so don't be upset about that. And for anyone else jumping on who wants to get picked, I'll check in with you guys after each person. Also, you guys, I have a new course that's going on. It's going to be so awesome. It's called Aligned Career Mastery. Actually, I have a whole new course page I just set up and basically a new website. Although I'm still working on the services page, so just bear with me as I, try to get it all done. But I'm gonna put a link in the chat for this. You guys should join. It's going to be awesome. It's all about our aligned career. What makes this one different is that it's not just, it's going to give you the meanings of everything that we talk about. So you don't have to learn how to be an astrologer. You can just come to the course and just learn based on a regular person, right? So you don't have to learn all the technical details. I'm just going to tell you what your chart means for career. It won't give you your career like this is what you should do. You should be an astronaut, but it'll kind of tell you what your role is based on your rising sign, what do you need based on your sun sign, what you need based on your moon sign. And I actually created an option so you guys can pay monthly. So those of you who need that or could use that, there's that option as well. So, Whitney, I don't like those kind of questions, or maybe I don't think it's Whitney. I think it's Heather. I'm tired a lot because I work and I do this and I don't do anything else. Okay, so we're going to, for anyone else jumping on, here's what we're doing. We're doing these live readings. There are a lot of people who signed up ahead of time. So those who signed up and are here get priority. After that, we'll go through the other people. Red Wolf, I see you. You are registered. And Grace, I see you. You guys are getting on the list of people to go through. And for those of you who didn't get a chance to sign up, you can DM me on Instagram. So I feel like I need to move faster through the rest of these. But here we go. Who's going to be next? Let's do Nandini. Nandini. You did sign up. And I think, is this the same Nandini as always? Because I just got paranoid that it's a different Nandini. And I'm going to read. No, yeah, it's you. You signed up. Okay. Current energies. Yeah, I think I put you in because I saw you. So you're going to be next. What's happening based on the transits in your chart? Barbara, you made it. I think I remember seeing your message. Robin, I'm glad you think it's still fun. And here we go. So Nandini, you got Jupiter's going to hit your north node. Let's see when that's going to happen. It might be a while because it's retrograde next year. Did I tell you about this already? I don't know. This is the first thing that like jumps out at me. I see something good, something fun. This could be something focused on kids if you have them. I'm sorry, I don't remember. I think so. But also it could be something good with your creative ability to kind of like, how do I put it? Like the fifth house is like your creative potency. And Jupiter rules your 12th house, so it's almost like something imaginative, So this is like screenwriting or something else that's more like taking some private creative vision and putting it out there. Now, if this lines up with other things, that makes sense time-wise, but I do see something positive coming up then. But let's go back to right now. Neptune is hitting your Saturn. This can make you feel like it's dissolving your discipline, making you feel like you just can't be bothered to do anything, making it harder. Areas of life where you had self-discipline, if you're finding those things harder lately, that could be why. The positive thing of Neptune here could also help you if you ever find that you are not the most open at communicating, if you find that you hold back certain things, if you find that you aren't always able to express what you want to, how you want to, although, this is not my experience of you, but if that is the case, Neptune could be here softening that barrier if you've ever had that be an issue. Although with Saturn here, it's almost like this might be a time where the universe is kind of saying to you in certain ways, work on your communication, work on how you speak, work on how you think, work on how, like, your mindset. Saturn will help you with this, so to speak. And no, I do. I don't know what, so Nandini, I don't know what you said no to or yes to. Feel free to expand on those because it's like it comes a little bit after. So it's hard for me because I don't know what I just said. I never know what I just said. Anyway, currently the sun just entered your 10th house, illuminating your career, really putting a focus on what you're doing now. It's in Libra, so you might be having some partnerships or some any kind of joint venture, especially with Venus here in that 8th house of, eighth house of it's not really partnerships, but it's like the deeper partnerships, like business collaborations or like where you're places where you're merged with other people in more intricate ways. So I feel like there can be, especially with Mars here, Mars Venus sextile here, where Venus rules your 5th house of fun, and Mars rules your 11th house of hopes and dreams, as well as your 4th house of home. So you could be having more fun at home. You could be finding that, I don't know, just feeling more like you meet people in groups who have the possibility of creating more deeper connections, and those connections maybe helping you in career, something like that. Yeah, the topic of house or home might be more of a focal point as far as what is going on with it. It might be more of like a public thing right now, or somehow more visible. I don't know how your house would become more visible, but it could be. Let's see if I see anything else big right now. I'm just scanning here. Let's see what's the most significant. I do think Mercury just coming out of retrograde. When did that happen? A couple weeks ago. You might be feeling more ready to, like, especially with this 9th house, like you might be feeling more ready to publish something or to work on some kind of creative work, like a book or something you would publish. It doesn't have to be a book, but something bigger that you would publish. Or if not that, focusing on, like, it's almost like now you've got more information and you can go forward more in your career and in what everything means. That's kind of what I see for you for right now, as far as current energies. So we're going to go ahead and stop there. Thank you, Nandini. Okay, so let's see who else we got. Let's go with Quinn. Let's go with Quinn next. Let me. There's not really an order here, so bear with me, everyone. I keep trying not to do that. Quinn said, sun progressing into Leo, moon progressing to the first house. Let's do the moon because that's what I'm focused on more. And I'll add you here, Quinn. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to tell you the answer. Quinn, have I done a reading for you before? For those of you on the list, yeah, I have. Okay. So if I've done a reading for you, make sure you tell me that too so I can, because some of you use different names on me. And then it's fine, but like I have like five of the different same name in my chart software, but it's fine. Um, Quinn, I found your chart. So we're gonna go like this and we'll just pull up your progress chart. So you're talking about your sun progressing into Leo. Okay, yeah, because you're a Gemini sun. So it's kind of like, I mean, it's kind of like, don't think of it as like your identity changes when the sun progresses. I would think of it like you're in a Leo phase, a 30-year Leo phase. Now, because it's a 30-year Leo phase, it's not going to be as specific or detailed. It's going to be more general. So your first 7 years of life was the Gemini phase, more focus on communication. Your next 30 years was a Cancer phase where you were focusing more on family, home, being rooted, being comfortable, and security. Now you're in a Leo phase, focus on being seen. Just know it's going to be general. It's not going to be, because it's like when there's a 30-year period of life, it can only be so specific. But let's talk about this progressed moon in the first, because this one is, we can talk, there's a lot more we can draw out of this placement. Number one, I will tell you that in 4 months, it's going to hit your ascendant, which means in Placidus, it's still in the 12th house. This can generally be a more challenging time because when your progressed moon goes through the 12th house, you can kind of feel like there's some kind of loss, something that has to be surrendered, something that has to be given up. Sometimes it's a relationship, sometimes people retire, sometimes you actually have some kind of death at that time that is significant in your life. Don't get all scared. People die all the time. I'm not talking to you, Quinn. I just feel like other people might be like, oh no, it's like, it just happens. It's just a part of life and it's something we see in the chart. But this 4 months from now, I see this is the new beginning point. So if you've been feeling it all like, when is this energy going to shift? When am I going to get out of this? Or, sometimes when your progression is in the 12th house, it's like as much as you want to move forward in life, there's a part of you that just can't. There's a part of you that is just like, it's not that season yet. It's the season of you've already reaped what you've sown. Now you just kind of have to sit with it for a good 2.5 years. So you are coming out of a more challenging progressed moon transit. And the good news is when the sun and the moon hits that ascendant, usually it's like a new beginning feeling. So this is a time where usually you find some new life direction. Usually you find some new project, new relationship, you move, you get a new job, something exciting happens, something new, something fresh that like sort of restarts this 28-year life cycle that starts with new beginning and ends with the ending of that cycle. Now there are other cycles within cycles, so this is not the only cycle you're in at the moment. Let me see if you asked anything else. Current energies. You also asked, do you see an artistic career in my chart? Let's quickly glance at that. I want this to go. I want to go back to the natal here. Okay, so this is back to Quinn. What do I see for artistic potential? Yeah, Jupiter in the 5th, yes. I mean, yes, not only do you have the artistic potential, but like you're going to feel happier when you're doing art. Libra rising tends to be more of a yes. We lean toward yes with Libra rising and Venus in Taurus. Perhaps more of a sensual feeling of art, and then like with the moon conjunct Venus at the midheaven, this also does give a potential here, but it almost feels like there's there's either also a job you do that's a little more of a caretaking type of job, or like just making people feel taken care of. Sometimes Taurus and Cancer like this, it's like people who bake cakes, or people who do massages, or like other things that are like sensual and make people feel okay. So this could go many different ways, but I always say when you're asking that question, just do it. You know what I mean? That's like, because like, don't wait for the chart to say yes. But I think with Jupiter in the fifth, it's like there's more potential to make art, to be expressing creativity and then feel happy, right? And so I'm not saying you can't make money off of it, but I feel like with your money stuff, it's more likely you're going to make money off of things that make people feel a certain way. Now, maybe your art is going to do that. There's a lot of other potentials here for money related to things like information, teaching, things like that as well. Especially, so like if you like want to teach art, that could be a thing. Although I feel bad recommending careers that might not make a lot of money, because I don't want to I don't want to set you up for that. But with Saturn in the second, another thing I'll tell you is your money and stuff is probably going to get better with time, because Saturn in the second will mean when you were younger, money probably came more slowly. It was more difficult to get. Okay, but you've already had your first Saturn square after your Saturn return, which is like, in my opinion, when Saturn starts letting go of the hold it has on you. So that was happening. I'm going to tell you when. Back on the around January of 2023, Saturn was squaring your Saturn. So this was some kind of difficult life lesson that maybe helped you see what you need to do financially or creatively. Think about what happened at this time. Reflect on this. Do this afterwards. Really think about all the things related to fifth house of fun and pleasure and second house of money and possessions. It might be something obvious. You lost something and you had to learn. Like usually you have to learn something the hard way when Saturn does this, but Neptune was also, did you lose a house or something? Lose your home or something else? Because it feels like Neptune dissolved one of your possessions and it could have been a house. Anyway, on that really positive note, I'm going to stop. But the good side of this though is that like whatever the lesson is in that, really take that to heart, because that's your Saturn lesson in this lifetime. And you don't need an astrologer to tell you what it was. You just need to know what happened during that time. And if you reflect on it, that's the thing to step up to in order to heal, recover, overcome that Saturn. There could also be something related to sexuality or magic, just because Saturn and Scorpio rules those things as well. But I'm going to stop there for you, Quinn. And so thank you, Quinn, for participating. And we're going to go on to the next person. Nandini, spot on. Cool, cool. Cosmic Goddess, wow, awesome. All right. So that was Quinn. Let's do Stacy next. What did Stacy ask for? Let's see. Here it is. Current energies. Okay. We can do that. And then I'm just marking the next person. I totally wanted to make this all like, I want to like take it so the time in between disappears and it just goes like this from person to person, but I don't think I can do that. But I did get a new iPhone, you guys. So my videos, I don't know if you've seen the last video, but you should go watch it just to see how much better they look. I'm so happy. I have a new mic I want to get next. It's going to be wonderful. Okay, we're going to do Stacy, and I think Reginald, you'll be next. Stacy's current energies. I'm just going to try to find like one thing that's cool about the current energy to tell you about. So this is Stacy. And what do we got here for you? We got, well, Saturn hitting your Mars. I wouldn't say that's cool, but it is significant. And in order, you know what? We had an opposition. So let's see what was happening back on. This was last month. So around, yeah, this Saturn opposite Sun on August 26th really pummeled you because it hit your Mars. It's on that axis. Did we talk about this already in another reading? Because I don't want to repeat it, but Mars in the 12th. Okay, one of the challenges, you have an Aries rising and Mars in the 12th. So to me, what this means is that you might not always relate to Aries rising as much because Aries rising, the qualities of like going straight after something or interrupting people, taking charge, cutting people off, Mars in Pisces does not want to do that. So it's like you want to go straight after something, but you're in the water and you're trying to swim to it. That's kind of what your life might feel like, where it's like, yeah, your moon and your rising would be really happy if you could go straight after everything. But this Mars does not allow that. It doesn't allow you to cut through more as clearly as you'd like to. So it's like you're swimming straight to something. It's like you're a mermaid and you're like a really clear and direct mermaid swimming to it. Let me know if that makes any sense at all to you. With Mars trine Pluto, there is an intensity that is brought up with Mars Pluto when things get hard, when life gets difficult, when you face big challenges. Okay, good. So we will, I see your comment, Stacy, that we didn't, so that's good. It's good I'm not repeating it. So yeah, like when your back is against the wall, you're going to thrive with Mars Pluto. You also have to go after what you really want because you can't BS yourself into something half-assed. With Mars and Pisces, though, it's like it doesn't have to be so intense. You can like gently go after the things you really want. With Saturn here on Mars, around August, end of August, you could have felt really powerless because Saturn on Mars is kind of like someone physically holding you down and you can't move. It feels like that energetically because it's like you have these things you want to do, but Saturn stops you from being able to do them. And so you have to kind of withstand. That's the keyword for Saturn Mars is endurance. You have to endure. So at this time, it's like you might have had work or a vacation you didn't want to take or, got sick and had to take time off or something. Another thing is Mars in the 12th. I meant to say this a minute ago. People with Mars in the 12th will not see in the moment as easily what pisses them off. They will not see, it will be harder for them to say no in the moment. They'll realize later, oh, I should have said something about that, and Mars and Pisces tends to have a hard time expressing the word no. Mars and Pisces and Mars and Libra, this is really hard for them. So it's interesting. I'm curious how that shows up for you. And you've got Chiron on your ascendant. So lots of challenges since August, end of August, around feeling like you can't do things and really bringing up any fears of not being capable that you may have. And that focus kind of being put on like your day-to-day schedule or routine, whether that be like something health related or something more related to your work life. So, okay, yeah, recovering from a surgery and waiting for a huge job offer. So let's see if we see anything huge job offer like at the moment or coming up. So we're Saturn. Mars is you. Yeah, I don't know. I'm almost wondering. Now, let's just see if This might be going a different direction, but let's just see here. What happened back on? Oh my gosh, take me to it. What I want. Back when Saturn hit that Mars the first time, that would have been in April of this year. So around April 19th ish, what was happening? What was happening related to career and your options? Did something get really hard, or did you have some opportunity at that time? Whatever that was, that's coming back. That theme or something related to those themes. When Saturn comes back and hits Mars again, you're going to see like a bit of a repeat of that energy. It doesn't mean the same thing will happen again, but that theme will be brought up in your life again. So, and you know, with Saturn in the 12th, this can be working behind the scenes. Sometimes that's what happens at this time. And sometimes, you know, if you want to change your job, there could be a job change. Now, the signification though is loss of a job, right? And sometimes you lose your job because you want another one, right? And so at this time, January 2024, I see, I'm not saying something is guaranteed to happen at this time, but I do see something, right? With Mars of you on your sun in the 10th, really bringing more energy to your leadership, and Saturn in the 12th on that Mars, which is you, right? Your career planet hitting the planet that rules you, could be something related to, I don't know, like your boss goes away and you become the boss or something. That would be my first prediction. But just know that, you know, these are for fun and for free. So don't take that as fact. Take it as just a possibility. And to zoom out a little, just something career related I see happening here. That is for sure. It may not be as positive as you're looking. It might be great. I can't quite tell based on the chart whether this is going to bring good or bad, because we have both of the malefics involved. So it might be a challenge. It might be a loss of something. I don't know. So I hope that doesn't, I hope that doesn't, you know, don't take that as too heavy. Just know that there are career developments happening. And let's see. Yeah, just I see career developments happening. I also see something potentially good in career happening later on in 2024, like closer to April, May, when Jupiter will oppose that Saturn. Jupiter will make an aspect to your career planet. So that is what I have for you. Stacy, we're going to move on to one of the next people now. All right. Let's see what else. Okay, Heather, I'm not really mad about that. I'm not really mad about that or anything. Stacy, you applied to be a warden. That makes so much sense because the 12th house rules prisons. Mars in the 12th can be a prison guard. Oh my God. That is so freaking cool. Okay, so do you see it? Do you see it? I didn't think it would be because it's in Pisces, but I have had other clients with Mars in the 12th who were a prison guard. So I do think if it takes that long, that this is a totally possible. I mean, I'm hopeful for you for that. Good luck. Good luck. Conservation game warden. Okay, so that's different than what I thought you meant. That's a lot different. So let me think about that. It's still okay. There's still definitely that kind of job is really in alignment. It is in alignment with this chart, but I can't say whether that transit is going to bring a promotion or something else. But I do see activity in your work sector, and especially in Capricorn, government jobs are really really common um, with Capricorn on the midheaven. So I'm going to move on now. I feel like I'm taking too long on these. I can't go fast. Let me check to see if there's other people. Police Academy. Okay, yeah, so that's like right up that alley for sure. Very cool. Thanks for sharing all that. Um, okay, Sayla, did I put you on here? Okay. I'm just going through to make sure I'm not missing anyone who's saying they signed up. Okay, so we have a few people here who I want to get all your charts in. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to, and then I have some people on Instagram. There's so many. Oh, there's so many of you. This is so much fun. I want to do, okay, so Olga, I want to do yours. Um, yeah, we're going to do, Olga, you're going to get on the list. And I am going to just, I'm going to have to just enter some of these charts so that we can kind of go bam, bam, bam through the rest of them. So you guys will have to just watch me do this. I mean, you don't have to watch. You could close your eyes. I don't care. But it's just, it's gonna take me a second or several minutes here. So Olga, you Instagrammed me. Go ahead and message on YouTube so I know who you are. You're asking about that fourth house, and I'd love to talk about that. Okay, so Olga, your chart is in. You will be one of the next ones. And after I get some of these other charts in. If you didn't get picked, I'm sorry. There's no way I can do this many. But I just want everybody. I want to give to everyone. Okay, so we have. Okay, so I'm going to enter one more and then we'll do a few and then we'll just keep doing this until I run out of steam. Which I don't know when that will be. Okay. So let's go now to, who did I put in first? Oh, shoot. Let's do Olga. Olga, are you here? Let me check the chat. Stuck. Okay, actually, let's do Heather. Olga, if you're here, chat me. Okay, Renisha, I marked you. There's a few of you have marked. Thank you, Stacy. Went to the store. Wait, Quinn, did you go to the store? Because I did your reading, so you can go back and watch it. I'll go. Okay, I'll do you next. So we're gonna do Heather, and then we'll do Olga. Olga. Robin, you signed up. Okay, so I will mark you as well. Right now there's like 10 of those already, and there's like 7 Instagram messages. Okay, so Heather, then Olga. Heather, you want whatever. Olga, you had questions about your stellium. Oh, do I have let's put the chart up. Feel free, Quinn, to let us know how it resonated in the comments. I love hearing that. I also could use testimonials for my website. So if you are someone who got a reading and you want your testimonial to be on my website with your actual name and your picture and stuff, just email me. Email me at Cassandra@saffronsageastrology.com. Okay, so Heather, you are next. And here we go. Okay, so Heather, let me see what we see here. Taurus rising, Venus in the 10th with the Sun conjunct, and Moon in Virgo. Let me see what kind of jumps out at me here. Let's see. I feel your chart is so balanced. Notice how all the planets are kind of just like one here, one there, one here, one there, one here, one there. This is really nice because it's like a little splash of everything or almost everything. So it's nice to see that. What else? What am I really drawn to? Let's just start with your sun, moon, and rising because nothing, and I'm not saying there's nothing interesting. Nothing's like screaming at me that has to be addressed here. So we'll do the sun. So sun in Aquarius usually participates in life through being the outsider in some way. Usually, people with sun in Aquarius don't always feel like they belong fully, or it's almost like they're more comfortable being the one who's like not in the club. The one who's like has the clipboard at the softball game, not the one playing the game. So think about how that applies to you, especially in work. With your sun in the 10th, the sun is where you shine. You shine when you are in public, when you are at work, when you are, have some kind of authority at your job. Midheaven in Aquarius with Saturn in the 4th. Sometimes people will work from home, or they'll work for family businesses, or they'll have a family business. What else? Moon in Virgo. likes to be right, doesn't want to be wrong, actually. Moon in the fifth, though, this one's nice because the moon is where your heart is. It's where you're most sensitive, and it's where you can bring the most sensitivity, but you also don't like that area of life if it's not okay. So your fifth house is your dating life, your flirting life, your fun. Moon in the fifth, it's like you care about having fun. And it's like, if your life isn't fun, you're not going to be happy. You need to have joy in your life. You need to do fun stuff. You need to go out and party, or even if you don't party, you actually really have this need in your chart to let me check it, Heather, then. If the rising is wrong, let me check the time. Because maybe I got it messed up. Oh yeah, I put the wrong time in there completely. I don't know what I did. I got the date right. The time is way wrong. Thank you for catching that. Did I get the place? Yes. Okay, so everything else is right. Oh, that's better. This is going to be totally different now. And that's okay. So here we go. Okay. I'm just scanning it again because it's a new experience with this chart. Okay, so I wanted to start with your Jupiter in the fourth because this is the planet that rules you, which means you're going to be happier when your home is how it needs to be. If your home is not where it needs to be, you won't be happy with your moon in the seventh. Now, moon in the seventh, this is more of a challenging one. I have this one too. You tend to really care about your relationships, but sometimes you're more aware of the effect you have on the other person to the point where you could overly adjust to meet their needs, especially being in Virgo, right? Because Virgo is the mutable sign of being of service. It will make you very much someone, with Cancer in the fifth, moon in the seventh, someone who can really adjust to your partner. Whoops, I want that not to show. Someone who can adjust to your partner. So there's a beauty in that. But it's like, it can, is that adjusting? How's it affecting you? Because your sun in the 12th also, it's like, I would say your chart lends itself to humility, to wanting to help society, wanting to solve problems, wanting to help everyone and help everyone feel good in their own skin and have what they need and take care of people's needs. Like lots of really beautiful energy in your chart, and sensitivity. Definitely lots of sensitivity. And yeah, like Neptune's very prominent, Pisces rising, Jupiter, Moon, Neptune, all in angular houses. So it's like all of these like sort of magical, nice planets get strength in your chart. So lots of dreaminess, lots of spirituality, lots of caring about how people feel. So I see that all as positive. And what can I tell you that's interesting? Let me think. Yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of energy when it comes to relationships in terms of there's just so much more than what meets the surface. And you may find that your relationships, you might describe that the experience as like you want to take care of your partner, be of service to your partner, do things for them. It just like that just screams at me in your chart more than anything else. What else do I see that's going to be just like interesting or fun to learn about? Mars in the fifth in Cancer. Yeah. So Mars in Cancer is really great at, again, wanting to take care of people, make people feel okay. Sometimes it's hard. This is one of the ones that can have a harder time saying no because it's like you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. But what happens with Mars in Cancer is when you're upset, usually it won't come out at the time, it'll come out at a different time. And in general, though, it can be really like just all of these planets are just kind of telling the story of a person who is very considerate, kind, puts other people ahead of themselves. And let me know, Heather, how this is feeling. Um, Overcoming pain from family. Okay. Yeah, okay. Well, you have Mercury is the planet of family, and because it rules your fourth house and it's squaring over to Pluto in the eighth. So trust issues from family that are probably deserved that could show up in relationships because the same planet that rules family for you also rules your relationships. So it's like sometimes people with moon in the seventh won't be in a relationship because they don't want to have to deal with the pain. Like they'll just be like, I'm going to opt out for a while so I can just live and not be totally destroyed. That's kind of how it can feel, unfortunately. Um, yes. Okay. Let's just see if we have any transits and then we'll go on to the next person. Neptune is on your ascendant right now. This sucks. I think it sucks. Neptune on your ascendant. Neptune has been going over your ascendant for a good couple of years. Right now, it's pretty strong. It can make you feel like you don't know what you're doing with your life since, I don't know, even around, it started really getting close around February. So if you felt more confused or unsure about your life direction since February, I want you to know that Neptune will do this. It'll make you feel numb. It will feel like it's dissolving your identity and you don't know what the new identity is. So it's like you can feel like you're in a very, very unclear place where it's like the old you is going away, but the new you hasn't emerged and you have no idea who the hell that is. Saturn entered your first house in March. So what's happening here is you've probably gotten some up level of responsibility since March. Sometimes it's stuff you don't want to do, you just have to. And Neptune's still kind of changing that. Now, Neptune doesn't move fast. It's going to leave Pisces in 2024. I'm trying to find the date. Is it 2025? Yeah. Don't think that means you're stuck feeling bad until then. Neptune leaves Pisces April of 2025. It'll dip back in again and then be out again in 2026. Don't think you can't have clarity until then. I think the worst of this is probably starting to be over. You may get a stronger feeling of this, and then I would say starting in March of next year, the clarity might start to come back as far as being able to self-define. So just don't worry too much right now. If you feel lost, if you don't know what's going on, you're not going to. You're not going to feel like you know what the hell's going on when Neptune's on your ascendant. It's a time where the universe is think of it as you're being molded like clay into something new. Don't try to define it. Just try to let it happen. Try to first of all, Melissa, that's not in so many years. I'm not going to address that, what happens in 10 years. But just try to like let Neptune work on you. Let the universe form you into something new, and try not to, the more you can let it be okay that you are not sure what's happening, the more this transit will go easily for you. Um, because and Neptune does make you feel numb. So watch the things in your life that could cause more of that, like substances. Watch out for those. That would be my advice. So that's what I have for you, and it makes sense that you would be feeling lost right now. Just try not to let that mean anything bad about you, because you can also change a lot. Right? So if you want to change your identity, just let that, you're like clay right now. You can mold yourself into anything. You just won't be able to see it until way after. So just don't try to judge too harshly. Um, okay, so we're going to go on now to, I think I already decided someone and I said it. Who was it? It was Olga. Olga, I saw your comment saying you're here. And let's see. You're welcome, Heather. I knew there was something to tell you and it just wasn't coming out of your natal chart. So that's why. Okay, so Heather is good. Now we have Olga. Olga, I know you're here. And what did you ask for your stellium? That's right. Fourth house. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you got, girl, you got all the bad planets in the same place. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes Mars, Saturn, and Pluto, they all just, which means all the other areas of life are going to be fine. I mean, that's the good side, right? We all have a Saturn, Pluto, and Mars. Now, let's take these apart a little. These are all going to describe what it was like growing up for you. Now, Scorpio, Saturn and Scorpio, Mars and Scorpio, I don't like this. This is hard. This is abuse, right? This is family who are just so cold or mean. Saturn Scorpio by itself can have at least one family member who's really sadistic, really mean, or cold and not present. Cruelty, it's like cruel. Psychological manipulation, stuff like that. And Pluto here just intensifies that even worse. Saturn in the fourth by itself can also be a strict upbringing. Now, it's not always that your parents are really, really strict and mean. Sometimes they are strict, like they won't let you do stuff. They just won't let you. You don't get to go out of the town. You don't get to dye your hair. You don't get to do certain things, or you have more hardship. Like you have more, I don't know, you're poor. You grow up poor in a difficult place where you can't get out until you're older. Mars in the fourth, also not my favorite, because wherever you have Mars, somebody is an asshole to you, and it's in your fourth house of home. So it's like, I don't know if you grew up with a lot of fighting with your parents, or your area of town not being a good place to be or something, but this just looks really challenging. Okay, so we can parse out each one of these. I know that's what you wanted. Pluto, this is going to be hard though, so I want to see what you say first. Do you want to go into this difficulty? And while you're doing that, I want to respond to, while I'm waiting for that. Yeah, that's what Neptune does, Heather. Neptune does that. I'm in a Neptune transit too. I don't like it. I do not like it. But if you can just go with it and let go and surrender, it's so much easier because you have to kind of be able to release control a little bit. Good. Okay, good, good, good. I'm glad that it was healing for you. Yeah, 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 Quinn. Okay, I'm seeing your comments. Saturn squares on point. Really started thriving in my finances. Yes. January. Is that when I said Neptune was going to dissolve your house or something? Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Okay, so I want to go back to family. That makes sense. Yeah, okay, thanks, Quinn, for sharing all those. Okay, so you said yes, great. I wanted to make sure here. Okay, Olga. So let's go to, so Pluto in the fourth, it just means for you when it comes to family, this is kind of a blessing in the sense that wherever you have Pluto, you have the ability to rise above that thing. It represents power and powerlessness. So this is an area of life you're powerless over in early life. And if you choose to rise up, you can overcome that and find that power. Sometimes the power of the fourth house comes from trying to help other people. And for people with Pluto in the fourth, the right path for you to balance this out is to focus on your calling, focus on your career, focus on work that you do in the world with Venus and Taurus. I wonder if it's something like art or being a chef, being a massage therapist, something else that you do that is sensual, using your voice, singing, something like that. Possibly, especially with Leo rising, like using your voice, speaking your words, soothing people with what you have to say, making people feel more grounded. Going back to the fourth house, though, with Saturn here, the sixth ruler in the fourth. So, Saturn in the fourth, sometimes you can be very, very intuitive. And we're going to do the same thing for you we did for Quinn, which is figure out when that Saturn square happened, because that's your biggest life lesson. And I think everyone needs to know this. It's so illuminating, and it's really good when you can find when the astrologer can guide you to the answer within. It's better. And that's how I do it. I don't like to do the whole, am I going to get rich? Although if you want to know about career, I'm doing a course you can get in on. Okay, so January 2022, I want you to think about what was happening around that time related to home or intuition, especially something that your intuition told you and there was a hard lesson about it, or something related to where you live or related to relationships. That's something you can think about after if you want to. That's your Saturn lesson, and it might have to do with work as well, like your daily work or your job, or realizing you're in the wrong job or something. And then with Mars in the fourth, this is Mars in Scorpio. This means you have you have the ability to withstand, and sometimes when your back is against the wall, you can thrive. Mars in Scorpio is a strong Mars, and it's angular, which means it's stronger. So you can be, if you need to, you can be ruthless, and you know what I'm talking about. Like, it doesn't mean you're mean all the time, but like, if you're in a dark alley, you can just Mars and Scorpio. It's like people won't fuck with you because you do have a look, right? There is a look with Mars and Scorpio. Like, if it was you or me, like Mars and Scorpio people have all this like buried sort of, I don't want to say rage always, but like buried magnetism, right? And it can be like this underneath the surface sexual energy. It can be this underneath the surface power, right? There's a lot of power under the surface, but it's kind of buried there, and it doesn't come out until you really need it. So, I mean, I'm not serious about going into dark alleys, but like, if you have Mars and Scorpio people, don't mess with you, because there's this deep inner thing in you that says like you would mess back. Let's see what Olga says here. Yes, I use my voice. Oh, okay. Yep, I'm not surprised. So basically, with Mars and Scorpio, you really have to go for things you're passionate about. You might thrive when you're in situations where your back is against the wall and you have to be urgent about something. And because Mars rules your ninth house, you might find life is more meaningful when you have your home life stimulated. Now, that can be because you're moving stuff around in your home and you like to be active there. It could be, having a partner at home with you who, you guys have fun in a passionate way. It can also be that fourth house of emotional foundations, where life feels meaningful when you can dive deep into your own psychology and understand what makes you you, what makes you tick, understand why people do the things you do. With Mars and Scorpio, people can't really lie to you. You know they're lying. You can sense things below the surface, if that makes sense. Okay, I think we'll stop there for that. That's not going to be everything, but that's as much as I can do in a situation like this for you on that fourth house. Lots going on there, though. All right, so I'm just checking on the comments, guys. You're welcome, Quinn. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, so we can speak to that really quick. The retrograde just means usually retrograde planets mean that area of life is something you have a stronger desire for. So it's like you probably have a stronger desire to feel okay and to have a home that is like supportive and gives you what you need to have a meaningful life, to have the work you want to have, the work you want to do, and to have the home you want to have. So that's a very, very quick rundown of that. So let's go on to one of the other people here. We have, what do we have? I think I put another chart in here. Reginald, are you still here? If you are, let me know because I really thought I put you in. I gotta make sure I didn't mess up your birth time though. I didn't. All right. Oh, you should. I hope you do. I hope you do join. Cosmic Goddess. There you are. Hi. Yes. Let me go back. I can't remember what you asked for. Your chart, current energies. Okay, perfect. So Cosmic Goddess, we're going to go ahead and just start. And we have, let me see, just whatever jumps out. This Mars-Venus conjunction is quite nice. These tend to give you lots of charisma, but it makes your love life a little more spicy and not always in an easy way. It does make the love life spicy though. And okay, yeah, Mars, Venus squaring over to the moon. Moon in the third. Moon in the third, there's a really beautiful potential here, especially with Jupiter in the ninth, to have mind heart coherence, to be able to want to speak what you know. And the moon really gives this softness. The moon also here can be when you're going around wherever you live, right? When you're like running your errands at the grocery store and stuff, the moon here can make it just like really easy to have these intuitive, really soft, lovely conversations. And Uranus is here. You probably have sudden encounters with people at grocery stores and stuff where you just, bam, you meet someone and you just have this heart to heart with a total stranger. Or total strangers at the grocery store, or when you're like running around doing your errands in your local neighborhood, are like want to tell you all their problems. Okay, so then let's go back to the square. Moon squares are not the easiest. Mars square moon is not the easiest thing. Because it's like your work life, your work schedule really goes against your needs. So maybe you've had jobs where you have to work graveyard or something, you know? That's kind of the first way I would see this. Or like because Mars rules the fourth house, maybe have roommates who wake you up all the time. Or something else like this where the work, especially the work that you do, can be disruptive to your emotional needs, if that makes sense. So there's that. Now let's just check on your current energy, see if there's anything wild happening with these transits. There's more here, but this is just the first thing I'm touching on. Moon in Pisces also. This is close to my moon too. It's a really lovely moon sign because you can be kind of like a breath of fresh air for people. There's kind of this like connection to all things in your emotional, like you feel all the feelings. So there's usually a lot of compassion here. With Uranus co-present, though, sometimes there are emotional shocks, and these things may have happened during elementary school. That's a possibility. Now, Saturn did just enter this sign. This is a more difficult transit because of Saturn is in a sign for 2.5 years. When it's in the sign of your moon, this is a harder time. It's just a harder time. You're more isolated. You don't have the support you normally have. If you have a family, you're away from them. If you have nurturing, lovely, females in your life, sometimes you lose them during this time, or even during the 2.5 years before. And it's just, you can tend to feel less support. So if you're feeling that, know that it's temporary. It's not going to be forever. What other energies do we have? Jupiter hit your north node. Let's see that. That's going to be more fun to talk about. That happened on around July 14th. So, did you meet someone new and start flirting, or have like an uptick in like a positive change in your dating life, or have a kid or get pregnant, or have something really good happen with kids you already have, or start gambling, start your own business, start having more fun? Because whatever happened here, I just want you to pay attention to this, because this is your north node getting bigger. This is Jupiter expanding that. Again, that was around July 14th. And Jupiter is going to come back. So whatever that was, it's going to retrograde past it. And then this energy will come back again around March. So let's see if there's an answer on that. You can't hear anything. Is that right now? You're telling me you can't hear it? You could always go back and watch. But whatever was happening back then, I would see that maybe there's something going on here with like some change to, like, if you're trying to have a baby, I mean, this would be March. I don't like predicting pregnancy, but I'm just going to say it's a possibility. Something good in the fifth house, and Uranus sudden change to your IC. I mean, this would be my first thought here. But if not, maybe starting a business or some other positive change to the home that involves fun and happiness. So I'm going to stop there, and we're going to go on to the next one, which is, let's see who's going to be next here. Let me see if I have. Oh, you know what? I want to do Jasmine. Jasmine's not here, but I want to do hers. I told her I would. And I'm going to go look at the question. Chiron. Okay, so Jasmine wants to know about her Chiron and Gemini. So Chiron and Gemini tend to be, let me see if the chart's on. Okay, so we have Jasmine. Jasmine's chart up. Chiron and Gemini is when you feel like you can't say what you need to say because you're going to be made wrong for it. Sometimes you have an experience when you're young where you say the wrong thing, and usually it's quite innocent, but you sort of get the message that it's not safe to communicate. And so what you end up doing, wherever we have Chiron, we brace ourselves against the pain, and we usually avoid that thing. So what does Chiron and Gemini do? Stop talking. And what happens is more communication issues, because when you don't communicate, what happens? Well, you are not understood. And then you get more of a complex. So it just feeds itself, right? We have a bad experience. We brace ourselves from the pain. When we brace ourselves from the pain, we stop doing the thing that would make it better, but because we don't want to feel that way anymore. So then Chiron in the ninth is a wound to your belief systems. And what can happen is you can feel more sensitive about being let down. Sometimes people with Chiron in the ninth, they can guide everyone else on their path, but they feel like they don't know their own path. It's like the spiritual guide who just knows how to help everyone else, but then when it comes to them, they feel like God or the universe doesn't help them. And it's like you can be the one everyone comes to for support. And you're like, oh, yeah, this is what you need to do. And it's obvious. But when it's you, it's like it doesn't feel like you get the same support back. And, the ninth house is our beliefs about what's meaningful. So with Chiron in the ninth, sometimes it can be harder to see that life is meaningful. There can be blocks to feeling that. You can feel like the things you're doing aren't meaningful sometimes. Now, keep in mind, it might not be all of this at once, but these are some of the challenges of ninth house Chiron. You have Uranus opposite Chiron, which means it's going to be when the Chiron is activated, it's going to be a lot stronger. It's going to come as an emotional shock because Chiron's so sensitive and Uranus will just zap it, And it'll kind of keep coming back, right? Especially having that T square to the sun here between Chiron, Sun, and Uranus, the sun in the 12th in whole sign, being about sometimes you can't see your own light as easily when the sun is in the 12th, but you can be very, very, very good at seeing like the deeper universal messages. Such a good chart for like Neptune in the 4th, very good for like Moon in the 7th, amazing for connecting with emotions, connecting with things that are private and deeply felt and helping people, right? Because the sun is where you shine. So where you shine is when you're realizing something about your own psyche, when you're facing your own fears, when you're becoming aware of how you self-sabotage, when you're helping other people guide them. And it's like your sun is just like this warm glow that lights up other people's darkness. So that's how you can use that as a gift. And that's what we will say on that. So we're going to go on now to the next one. Let's do, did I put you in, Grace? Let me see. I think I might have put you in here. Grace, comment if you are still here. I'm going to find your message in here. What? I thought I did. Darn it. Okay, I guess I didn't. Okay, so I will put it in now. Okay, I'm just checking, make sure I got it in right. Yeah, okay. Still here, perfect. Okay. so I'm going back to Cosmic Goddess. I did not think about that. So this could also be if you don't want to have a baby, you need to be careful around that time. I'm not even kidding you. It could be something else good with home. So it could be like moving home or something like that. It could be like meeting someone and moving in with them or something. That would be the other way I might interpret that. Okay, going back now to Grace. And what was Grace's question? Current energies. All right. And do I have the chart up? Oh man, it went away. There we go. Okay, so Grace, we're looking at your current energies. We've got let me see here. I'm just scanning this. Give me a moment. Saturn did enter your second house back in March, so that's going to bring more of a serious focus on money. Since you're an Aquarius rising, Saturn is you, so it's like you are making money. Sometimes when Saturn's in the second, you make less money, and so that's why you're focusing on it, because you want to make more. And that's kind of how that goes. You could also just be focusing on like building up to something, building up to a career that you're trying to reach. Venus just hit your Jupiter, which makes me wonder if you're in a relationship, if something really nice happened, I don't know, a week ago or so. And if you're not, maybe something nice with a potential partner happening, right? Because it's your money planet in the seventh house. Sometimes people with that combo will be the ones supporting their partner. But it feels like maybe something good when it comes to love and money happening together. Like I don't know, like you move in together and save money. Or like, I don't know, you just, with Jupiter in the fourth, it makes me wonder, Grace, do you have someone in your life right now who you're trying to move in with or something like that? If you are not in a relationship, this can also be about your really good friends. This could have just been having a really wonderful conversation and just like really having a time where relationships are going well or having some ease around them. What else? Gosh, what else? Let me think. I'm thinking about something. "21 degrees. Okay. I was looking at the solar eclipse in Libra happening. We'll be having videos on this soon, but it's right around, I think it's this day. It's in October. But for you, this is going to be very close to your moon in the ninth. So this might be a time from October up to the next 6 months where you decide to do something very ninth house related. So that could be working abroad. That could be working with the law. It could be working, it's probably changing your job or your daily schedule. So like travel, moving abroad, doing a vacation, learning a new language, doing something where you applied to some kind of college or something with the law, like getting a job working at anything, any kind of legal field, or publishing a book. So I would say some kind of very, very big new beginning happening at that time for you. Okay, that's fine. It does feel like if anything is happening, it's going to just be a time where maybe there's some nice dates or something while Venus is in Leo. And if you haven't had that, maybe it would be good to kind of like uh, you can take advantage of that by just enjoying your partner more in whatever way would be natural. It feels like it can just be like nice dates at home or nice dinners at home, something just nice. So, yeah, this eclipse is going to affect you a lot. Don't be scared of that. But it feels like there might just be a change coming relating to all of those things. Um, Now, it's possible that it might be more trying to figure out what life means. You might feel like that desire to seek out the meaning of life feels activated, and there's a part of you that wants to explore that. Exploration may not be travel, but it might be more mental, more emotional, more like, what is my work? Is my work meaningful? Because you've got your work planet in the ninth house. So like, is what I do every day really making a difference? Am I on the right path? You may find yourself really, really, really like activated to be asking those things. That's probably the biggest thing. I will say Pluto has been going through your 12th house, not an easy one. Not an easy one, because it brings up all your subconscious fears. So if you felt like that lately, uh, just mark your calendar for January, mid-January of 2024, I mean. And then again, it will come back, and then you'll be kind of done with that in November. But it's only back for a couple months. So it's like by this January, that what Pluto has done to bring up the subconscious fears, the self-sabotage, show it to you to be dealt with, like it'll be mostly purged. It won't be all done, but mostly purged, and you might get a little relief from that. Okay, we're going to stop there on that one. Let's see. I think I'm going to do one more for today. And for those of you who did not get in on this, just know we'll do another one of these when I hit 20K. Hopefully it is soon, and that we get to do this again soon. Let's see. Barbara, are you still here? I'm going to ask, and if I get a yes, I'll do it. And if I don't, I will pick someone else. Barbara's still here. All right, so we will do you next. Let me add your chart here. And I know you said something. What did you say? You said the next year. Okay, so we can just do this year, July. So we can do July to next July. Just tell you a little bit about what we see. Going a few years like that would take a long time for me, because I have to look at it. I have to look at everything. Oh, shoot. I'm just checking to make sure I entered it right. Okay, so when you ask about your year, you guys, you're going to get a solar return chart. It's not going to tell you what to do every 3 months. I'll give you a link for that, Melissa. I have a testimonial form, and I'm going to pull that up right now. And it is, what is it? It's a Google form where you can just leave a testimonial. It'll ask you what you did. You can fill it in if it's something else. And it would be better if you have a picture. And there's a place to add a file so that you can add it so those people get priority. And if you don't want to do that, then that's okay. Just don't do it. So that's the link for that. Thank you for asking, Melissa. Okay, Adam, I don't think I'm going to get to any more. I think this will be my last one for today. I'm also working on the eclipse video, so watch for that, you guys. Okay, Barbara, back to Barbara. Solar return. We're going to do a solar return chart for you, which is going to be from last July until the following July. So it goes from your birthday to your next birthday. Now it's not exactly on your birthday, but it's like the day before, the day after usually. So okay. So going back to Barbara. Barbara, this is your solar return chart. It's not going to be the same as your natal chart. But what we can see here is Virgo on the rising means this will be a year from July 6th, 2023 till the next. Wait, Barbara, I need to know where you are. Are you in Slovakia now? Or are you somewhere else? I gotta wait and get that and then we can do it. It'll change everything. So then Cosmic Goddess. Yes, okay, perfect. Okay, so Saturn in the 7th can bring commitments at best in relationship. Virgo rising can make you be more focusing on details, especially with Mercury in the 11th. Details of something related to a hope or a dream or plans, especially with the sun here. It feels like you could be focusing on, if you already have like a career that's going solid, you could be focusing on bringing it to more people in some way. You could be focusing on something that brings you money from the work you do. You could be focusing on your hopes and dreams and making them grow and making a plan for a hope and dream that really nurtures you and makes you feel fulfilled. You could, let's see what else. With Saturn in transiting your 6th house, this is not on this chart, but it's part of your transits. I'm flipping back and forth here. This is a time since March where your day-to-day work life tends to become harder. Sometimes you have to work harder to do the same amount of things. And because you have Jupiter there in your 6th house, when Saturn goes through that sign since March, sometimes you can feel a little bit less happy. You can feel a little bit less connected to the deeper meaning of life, or I'm going to use myself as an example because I also have Jupiter in the 6th in whole sign, and Saturn just transited that house. And like I stopped listening to meditations. I stopped really doing any of that stuff. And it wasn't on purpose. It just, now I know it was that transit. So if you find yourself not as easy to access things that feel like they make your life meaningful or feel like your faith, it's normal. And it doesn't mean you have to work so hard to do it. You can, or you can just know that you might be more pessimistic about things for a while, and that's okay. That's okay. But it can bring some Jupiter in the 6th working harder. Now, sometimes you're working harder because you're an apprentice and you're building a skill. Sometimes you're working harder because your work got harder and you don't make any more money. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes you have to work like 5 times harder to do the same thing because now you have to commute like 2 hours or something, you know. Sometimes it's something like that. Now, going back to the actual solar return chart here, we're going to look at what the sun is doing. Sun is again in the 11th house with Mercury, bringing communication in groups. This could just be hanging out with friends. It could be meeting people. It could be joining communities online and getting connected that way. There's a potential to overcome trust issues with this square to Chiron. What else? Possible commitments in relationships. Possibly people in your life can show up who sometimes with Saturn in the seventh for a year, it's like during that year you're committing to someone, or you're cutting off people who are stopping you from what you want to do in your life. You know, the people that are dragging you down to the level that it's like, no, you know, sometimes people ask for so much from you that you're like, either you step up and you're like, yes, I want to provide this. I want to commit to this. I want to give energy to this. Or you're like, no, I don't. Get out, you know? So people sometimes will become so much trouble that you're like, I'm not dealing with this. And you realize, because what Saturn does is it makes you realize what needs to change there. Now, those are some of the challenges. Let's talk about good things. Jupiter in the ninth and the solar return. Even with what I said about not feeling as connected to faith, it is still a good time to, to what was I going to say? Find it anyway. It's still a good time to find it anyway. And it might be one of those things where you're like, I'm feeling kind of dark and gloomy. I better do something. I better take a course or something. I'm also noticing you have a Chiron and Gemini opposite Uranus. So this is very similar to the one for Jasmine. So you should go watch Jasmine's reading, because everything I said about hers is going to apply to yours. Lots of people have Chiron in Gemini opposite Uranus. But yours is also in the ninth house, so that's why it makes it more personal. Now, what else for the year do I see that's like striking? That's positive, because I told you about some of the challenges. Right now, at this moment, you have Mars transiting your ascendant, your Libra, the sign of you. So you might just be busier for a little bit. That's not really a bad thing, just more things to do usually during that time. With Mars, Venus in the 12th, there can be something going on with love that brings up psychological stuff. Like you realize it might be a time, if you're doing some inner work, you might be exploring doing some inner work on relationship dynamics and what they really mean and what you need in love, and how you have maybe not, especially if there's things about love and romance and sex and sexuality that you haven't looked at as much or you haven't been as open to. This might be a year where you're consciously trying to see what are my inner workings around relationships? What are my inner workings around money? What do I believe about this stuff? And you might be consciously going into those topics and looking at them and you know, doing that inner work that is normally harder to see. What else do I see? Where's the moon? Moon in the 6th. Yeah, you might not like your job right now. Barbara, do you hate your job right now? Yeah, you got some hard stuff around 6th house, so it makes me wonder if you're trying to get out of your job, or you don't like it, or you wish you had something else that you're doing, or you're working hard to get to work up to something else, or just working hard and feeling the pressure or the responsibility of like having a lot to do. I kind of want to see what your answer is. All right, so I'm just going to keep going and then we'll be probably done for today. Let me see what else stands out to me. Relationships, again, may demand more from you, but they may be more confusing. You might have both energies, where you have some people in your life who are trying to control you or direct you or even step in and help guide you with their authority. Now, this could be felt as positive or negative. But then with Neptune here, you could also have some people in your life who are like more airy fairy spiritual people, or people who just soothe you a little bit. So those things could both be happening at the same time. And with Mars making a quincunx to Neptune, I do feel like this will be a year where for you, relationships will be important and they'll require a lot from you, and there might be some kind of uh, there's going to be something going on with relationships this year. This is a year to really, really look at what drives you in relationship and why you are in love with the people you are in love with. If you're single, why you are single, not in a way of like looking at what's wrong with you, but really, I feel that there will be something going on that brings up your subconscious fear of love, brings up your subconscious stuff. A lot of work and lacking motivation. Yeah, I do see you kind of getting pummeled with work and it being an area that you really wish was going more easily at the moment. You know, with Moon in the sixth, you can feel more aware of the way that work is not going well. And with Saturn in the sixth, sometimes you get hit with more, like you just get tackled, you know, with a bunch of papers, or you just get buried with responsibility. Uh, but you do have Jupiter there, so but that's not like it's going to fix everything. There's still, because Saturn makes a trine up to your moon, there's still a way that the workload that you're under could lead to some kind of positive outcome. It's like it can power. Sometimes sixth house stuff doesn't help you with your actual career. It just makes you have more stuff to do. In your case, I think there's more potential for it to lead to something good because of this trine up to the midheaven, trine up to the moon, and then trine up to the sun. So it's like finding a way to make sure that work is working for you, like getting you somewhere and doing the work that is going to get you somewhere right now, not just the busy work. I would say that's the biggest thing. I do see some relationship stuff coming up where it'll be about really figuring out what you desire and putting an emphasis. Now, this can be in a good way where you meet someone who, or you're with someone who brings up that desire in a positive way. And you're like, hey, you know, Venus in the 12th in this chart, the 12th house is the house of bed pleasures. So, you know, if you're not feeling like your love life is active or giving you satisfaction, this might be a year where it's about figuring out, like maybe not figuring out, but there might be opportunities to have some experiences there. So I'm going to stop there for that. For everyone else, you guys join me on my, wow, it's being so weird. Join me, join me for Career Mastery, Aligned Career Mastery. I'm going to put another link here. You guys really should do this because what I'm doing differently this time is I'm making it for people who maybe are not trying to become an astrologer. So like you just want to know about what your chart says about career. It will not tell you should be an engineer. It will not do that, but it will tell you, you know, based on this rising sign, this is what you need in career. And based on this Mars, this is what you need for motivation. Your Mars, your Venus, your ascendant, your midheaven. We're going to go through all these things and what they mean for career. I think you guys are going to love this because you don't have to figure it out. You just show up at the class. I tell you what your placement means. And then the only real work you have to do is try to put it all together. And, you know, maybe we'll address that as well, because this is one of the challenges is sometimes your rising sign needs this thing over here, but your Mars needs something totally different. And what do you do? What do you do? And I'll just use myself as an example because it's easier. Not because I'm obsessed with me, but I know my chart the best of anyone's. But basically, I have a Virgo rising, which means I do better in environments where someone is giving me a structure to follow and I don't have to figure out. Like if someone is like, go make a spreadsheet, I'm like, no. But if someone's like, here's the spreadsheet, you put this here, you put this here, I'm like, I got it. Right? So it's like I do better, and most Virgo risings do better in situations where the structure is already provided because they worry they're making the wrong choice. Now, at the same time, my Mars in Scorpio needs to like have intensity, and I don't from an office job where I'm putting info in spreadsheets. It doesn't have the like passion. And so it's like, I mean, my life right now is a perfect example of how I'm getting both because I work with spreadsheets at my job and I do this. Now it's probably not going to be forever. And once I'm doing work full time, I'll have to figure out how to remedy sort of that Virgo rising tendency to worry so much. I'm not asking for help, by the way. But we all have this, right? We all have this, but there are some placements that you really got to listen to. Like if you're an Aries rising, you can't be in a job. If you have a fire rising sign, you cannot be in an office job. You have to move. Whether that movement is physical or it is like mental and emotional and like breaking through and starting things. You can't just sit there when you have a bunch of fire in your chart and expect to be happy and fulfilled. We're also going to have a unit in this course on fulfillment because this is one of the things, there's some things that you can't get from your job. And one of the problems I see people doing in astrology is they're looking in general, and I used to do this, is they're trying to find a job that's going to fix all their problems, right? You feel like I'm unfulfilled, maybe I need a new job, but it's like some of your unfulfillment might not be because you're in the wrong job. Some of your lack of fulfillment might be because you don't know what you want to do with your life, and that's not your job's responsibility to do for you, if that makes sense. It's not your job's job to make you happy. It's your job. And I know that's some real talk, but this is something I wish I knew sooner because I kept changing jobs thinking that I was going to just like find some magic job that was just going to make everything okay. And that wasn't the path. And that isn't the path. The path is number one, knowing thyself, really taking time to know yourself enough to know what you are good at, what you are maybe not as good at, what makes you happy, what environment you thrive in. So this course is about helping you get to that point, right? Helping you get to the point where you know yourself enough to make the right career decision, because ultimately that aligned career, you have to know what it is. You have to be in a place like that's your job. If you want to find your aligned career, your job is to know yourself and to get enough experiences to be able to know it yourself from within. Because, you know, the way this happens is like the answer has to come from within. No one can tell you. And this is something that, but we can like help you along the path. And this is something I wish I had when I was in Korea learning Reiki, trying to figure out my life. I knew I wasn't happy. I knew I didn't want to teach English forever, but it was the first job I ever had where I was like not miserable. And it was like, oh, you can do jobs that you're not like devastated by how tired they make you. Like, I didn't know that was the thing. And I remember teaching English. It was like a seed was planted that like there was an ease to it. You know, I knew I didn't love English, but I really liked teaching and there was an ease to it. And so I had to do a lot more work before I was ready to push forward on this path. But if I had had a course like this, it would have made that path so much faster and so much easier. So check it out. Join us. There's a monthly payment option if you want to do that. The course starts in October. And technically, if you sign up by the 25th, you get free access to another video course of mine that I don't even have for sale anymore. It's a bunch of videos, a few videos on actually how to read a planet in a sign in a house. So it really breaks it down beginner ways. So check it out. There is a link in the description, a link in the chat. And I want to check on these comments here. Pummeled, yeah. Barbara, yes, pummeled. For everyone who I didn't get to, I'm sorry. I cannot do everybody. I wish I could do everyone. Even when I first like created the signups, I was like, I'm not going to get through everyone. I don't think I even can do 30 people in a couple hours. But we'll do another one of these for the 20K. So hopefully that comes soon and you guys can get it soon because I love doing these. Thank you, Renisha. Daniela says, I also like astrology so much. Me too. Me too. So if you guys haven't seen the latest video on Neptune, it was Neptune opposite Sun, I think. You should check that one out because it can help you understand what has, even though that transit is technically kind of past, I still recommend it because it can help you kind of figure out what we just went through. Neptune can be kind of confusing and disorienting. So I recommend checking that video out. It is on the channel. Also, the next videos that I'm going to put out are going to be what are they going to be? They're going to be the eclipse, okay? The solar eclipse in Libra. So get ready for that. Thank you so much to everyone who commented, who put your name in for a reading. And yay to this channel for getting to 10K. And thank you to you guys for making that possible. And that's all I have for today. So thank you. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.